has expired. I recognize Ms. Steele for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Ranking Member Graves. Once again, California state has 40% of nation's imported goods and 30% of the nation's exported goods moving through just 2 of its ports, Los Angeles and Long Beach. It's implementing AB 5, a law that will worsen the nation's supply chain crisis by abandoning the independent contractor model used by the trucking industry. Mr. Secretary, as AB 5 would impact 70,000 truckers alone just in California, what is your department doing to lessen the impact of this bill on our national economy?
Well, the availability of trucking workers is a critically important part of the supply chain challenge. It's one of the reasons why we've been working on this from day one, taking measures both to help recruit new truck drivers and to support the kind of job quality improvements that we believe will help us to retain more truck drivers in the career. Our Bureau of Transportation Statistics estimates that some 300,000 people leave the profession on a yearly basis, and we've taken steps that we think have successfully helped to move the needle on some of those systemic challenges. So we're going to continue those efforts. They're all in line with the President's Trucking Action Plan, and we'll continue doing that as we wait for more information and guidance from the state of California about state policies.
But this, shortage of drivers is part of it, but not just the shortage of drivers, but in California, these independent truckers cannot really come in. So you are co-chair of Supply Chain Task Force. And I know that you developed the Trucking Action Plan, but I've been seeing you and other members of administration encourage the ILWU, International Longshore and Warehouse Union, and PMA, Pacific Maritime Association, to come to the table to keep freight flowing through LA and Long Beach. Why aren't you doing the same for independent truckers? Because as of now, that we have so much shortage of truckers, and these independent truckers can come in. I think that's going to reduce our supply chain crisis much more. So why shouldn't they get the same type of exemptions that gig workers and entertainers get who are in impetus for the law?
Well, again, to the extent that this is a state law, we respect the role of the state of California. We're in touch with them, and we know that they have indicated that the California Labor Agency is working with those who need assistance coming into compliance, and that they are looking at the supply chain factors too. This is one piece of a very big puzzle, and we are doing everything we can on the pieces that are up to us federally, while respecting the areas in which we are not formally part of the process.
So you're not really working with Governor Newsom just visited last week here, and you never had a meeting with him that, you know what, he could have gone to actually declare the state of emergency, bypass AB 5. So, it's going to actually loosen up a little more of the supply chain crisis. So you never really did that. And what that California Trucking Association sued, that Supreme Court refused to hear, that what that's going to be really impacting for this supply chain crisis.
So again, we're not part of the lawsuit that you referred to, or we're not a party to it, and it doesn't have a federal procedural role in that sense. We are obviously continuing to monitor anything and everything that can affect throughput in our ports or in any part of the goods movement system in the U.S. And we will work with any party that has ideas or has needs in order to make sure that goods keep moving as they need to.
Just my last question is, so you have a communication open between governor's office, California governor's office, and your department to solve this problem?
So we will respect the role of the state, but always be prepared to engage on anything we can do to be supportive or helpful toward the goal of making sure there's good throughput.
Thank you very much. I yield back.
The gentlewoman yields back. I recognize Mr. DeSanyoye for 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Recognized.